The class I'm going to be giving is about sugar. So we've had 3 lessons before about sugar, and today is the final one. And so the topic we're covering is why consuming sugar does not satisfy hunger, and it leads to weight gain. So this is really, I think, one of the major problems that we are facing with our current food landscape. That we're eating a lot of things, and food is supposed to satisfy our hunger, but we're eating things that aren't satisfying our hunger. And so we're eating excessively, and we're not getting the nutrition that we need. And as a result, we're gaining weight, and then we're becoming unhealthy in many ways. That leads to diabetes, to heart disease, to high blood pressure, all kinds of things. So, and really one of the culprits, as we're finding out when research is going on, one of the main culprits is sugar. So I want to understand the relationship between sugar and our hunger, our appetite, but also the relationship between sugar and nutrition in our foods. So that's what we're going to cover today. So these 4 points really sum up what the problem is with sugar, and we'll touch on each of these as we go, but I wanted to kind of give us an overview. First of all, sugar is addictive. It's like a drug. It's been shown that if we eat a little bit of sugar, our body becomes addicted and we crave more. And so we kind of lose control of ourselves. We crave it. That addiction takes over us. So if we eat a little bit of sugar, we eat more. Perfect example is they put out a tray of desserts and you think, I'm just going to have 1 cookie, right? And so you take that 1 cookie, there's that little bit of sugar, it triggers that addiction, and your mind says, I want another cookie. And so then you take another cookie and it spirals from there. So sugar is addictive, and that leads us to overeating. So that's the first part of how sugar affects our hunger. It's not really satisfying our appetite, it's creating a bigger craving for sugar. Second, processed foods, and most processed foods have added sugar so that we become addicted to it. But not only that, it contains no fiber. Processed foods, they try to get rid of all of the fiber. One of the reasons is because that way the shelf life is much longer. So if you make real wholesome bread at home and you put it on the shelf, in about a day and a half it's going to be moldy and you have to throw it out. If you make processed bread, nicely sliced, fluffy and white, and you take out all the fiber and you put it on the shelf, it can last there a month and it's not going to get moldy. So getting rid of the fiber, of course, is useful for the food industry because it makes food last longer, but it's less beneficial to our health, and then it doesn't satisfy hunger because fiber is very, very key in us feeling full. When we eat a meal and there's lots of fiber in that meal, we're going to feel full. We're going to feel satisfied. We're going to feel that our body has had the food that it needs. Okay, processed food contains high concentrated carbohydrates. So the difference, for example, between eating a bowl of oats, like oatmeal in the morning, or if you take those oats and you grind it and you get rid of all of the fiber and just get the concentrated carbohydrate that's in the oats, and then you make a muffin out of it, that muffin has very, very concentrated carbs. So it's much easier for you to eat an excess of calories and excess of carbohydrates in that muffin than if you were just eating it in its real form as oats. So processed food, it concentrates the carbohydrates, it makes it easy to take extra calories, and it doesn't satisfy our hunger. So that's another way that this is a problem. And carbohydrates, remember that processed carbohydrates, our body feels or processes it the same as it does sugar. So for our bodies, processed carbohydrates and sugars are pretty much the same thing. And then the fourth is processed foods contain little nutrition. So our bodies, besides carbohydrates and fats and protein, our bodies need a huge variety of minerals and vitamins and all kinds of other nutrients that processed foods just don't have. And one of the components of hunger is that our body is saying, I want vitamin C, I want iron, I want calcium. And if we're not giving our body these nutrients, then of course our body still is hungry. It's saying, I haven't gotten the calcium I need. Give me more food. I don't have enough oils to keep your skin soft and healthy. Give me more food. So that's a big component of hunger that we don't satisfy if we're eating processed foods, sugar, and all of that. So I'd like to take a look at what hunger really is about. So we confuse the main purpose of eating and drinking. And of course there's many reasons. We eat and drink to be social many times, and that's an important aspect of it. But really the main purpose above everything else is our appetites, our hunger is about two things. First, we want to acquire enough nutrition to keep us healthy. So if we're a young child, we need to take in a lot of protein to help us grow. If we're in our middle age, we need a lot of carbohydrates to give us energy. When we get sick, we need a lot of vitamins, a lot of other things to help our body recover. So we're just basically acquiring constantly different nutrients to keep us healthy, depending on what our current situation is, what our age, all kinds of factors. Our body's going to ask for a different type of nutrition based on our needs. And number two, we need to acquire enough carbohydrates for our daily energy. And last time we talked about how our body can actually get glucose from fat, from protein, and from carbohydrates. So it's not exclusively carbohydrates. All of the macronutrients can provide the glucose, the carbohydrates that we need for our daily activity. But the first one, the nutrients, that's really important that we eat a variety of foods. Fruits, vegetables, grains, seeds, nuts, all these things have different nutrition which our body needs. And then of course pleasure is closely related because our body likes foods that have a lot of nutrition. When you taste, for example, a tomato that has a delicious flavor and a tomato that just tastes like water, the difference is that the tomato that is delicious, delicious, delicious has a lot of nutrition. And that's why if you buy organic food, you're going to see that it tastes a lot better. It's just full of nutrition. It's got a lot more minerals, nutrients and vitamins, phytochemicals, everything. And that translates to us, to our body, as flavor. So pleasure is an indication of good food. But then, of course, we've learned to tap in and manipulate that as well. We know that sugar to our body is an indication of a lot of nutrition or a lot of energy, as well as, say, a lot of butter. Our body knows that if I eat a lot of butter, I'm going to be getting a lot of energy. And so our bodies like that, and the food industry has learned about that and now uses it to their advantage. But flavor in general is an indication of things that our body needs. So, understanding a little bit about hunger and how our body desires food, we have, if food is unpalatable, if it doesn't taste good, then we eat less of it. It's that simple. If a child does not like something, for example, olives, the child is not going to want to eat olives. And that's not necessarily bad. When you're young, your body, your digestive system can't process everything. And so when you're a child, olives are not easy to process. And so children shouldn't be eating olives unless they like it, which means that their body has develop the necessary enzymes and bacteria to process all this. But if they don't like it, chances are, they're not going to eat much of it. And we're all the same way. If we don't like something, we don't eat it. We eat less of it. And then if we like it, if it's especially delicious, then we eat more of it. And that's what happens with ice cream and cake and cookies and all of these things. But what's more delicious on a hot summer day than freshly cut cold watermelon? That's delicious. And that's good for us. And the flavor that our body loves is, it's got a lot of energy for our bodies. It's got a lot of nutrients and minerals. Our body craves all of that. On top of that, it has a lot of water, which is the number one thing our bodies need as far as nutrition. So, but what ends up happening is that we eat chocolate cake because we are drawn by the taste of sweetness. So the food industry has learned we are attracted to sweet and we're attracted to fat. So if we pack the product full of sugar and butter, it's going to be delicious. People are going to crave it more. And it's not because we necessarily need the energy. Our bodies are just hardwired that way. And so we'll crave it even if we don't need the energy. Our body thinks, well, I'll store it for the winter when there's nothing growing and I can't kill any animals. Well, we don't live in that society anymore. 24/7 we have food available to us. In the wintertime, they'll import mangoes from Africa. We'll always have plenty of food available. And so that's where we run into problems. We are eating things that our body's craving if it needs energy, but we're not eating it because our body necessarily craves that energy. We drink sodas because we're thirsty, hot, sometimes tired, and soda provides some liquid. Of course, we're drinking, and so it feels satisfying, and lots of energy. It's full of sugar. And so that feels good to our bodies. If we're tired and we drink soda, then all of a sudden we feel like we have new energy, but really what our body is mostly craving in that situation, if we are thirsty, is water. And so again, we're fooling our bodies. We're playing with that intuition that our body has, but we're not really giving it what it needs. So if I go to the pub after work and I have 2 beers, am I going there because I am short in calories or dehydrated? No.
Let's go watch the Heat game.
I am going, exactly. I'm going to the pub to watch the Heat game win, to watch the Heat win.
Yeah.
But I'm drinking those beers purely out of pleasure. I know that my body doesn't need extra calories. I know that my body is not dehydrated. I am drinking beers out of pleasure, and that's okay. Sometimes. The problem is that we do that on a regular basis, and that's not good for our bodies. If I go out and I buy an ice cream on a warm day, is it because I'm short of calories or dehydrated? Chances are no. Again, I'm just eating ice cream because it tastes delicious, because I like it, but not necessarily because my body needs it. And that's where we need to begin to change our mind frame. So what is the reason for this eating and drinking? We're seeking pleasure. What am I really trying to satisfy if not a nutritional need? So it's very important to know that I'm eating this ice cream. It's not necessarily providing my body anything that it needs specifically. What is it I'm trying to satisfy? And I would tend to say, out of personal experience, and you can look inside and see what the answer is to you, I would say that I have a ton of needs that I'm trying to satisfy. I have fears, I have lack of self-esteem, I have, a need to be loved, I feel insecure at my work, with my friends, I have problems in my family, and so I eat ice cream to satisfy all of those needs. And really, it's not solving anything. It's just making me forget the things I should be dealing with. So, I think we eat a lot of times for the wrong reason. And the right reason to eat is because our body is asking us for nutrition. And so we need to just evaluate that. So many times we eat only for pleasure, and the extra calories we get are incidental. So if I eat that ice cream, I'm just doing it out of pleasure. I have to accept that I'm getting a lot of calories that I don't need. They're just incidental. So now I want to shift a little bit and look at something that we call the food matrix. And it sounds fancy, but it's actually quite simple. It just means, what is the form of the food and what does it have nutrition-wise in that form? And we're going to take the example of an orange. So we're going to look at the food matrix from the perspective of an orange, so you can understand what this is. How food structure changes and how that affects our body, our nutrition, and our satiety, our satisfaction of feeling full. So there's a wonderful lecture. It's about 6 minutes long, and if you Google food matrix and Monash University, it's an online course about food nutrition, and this is one of the professors giving a lecture specifically about the food matrix. I found it very interesting. If you want to look it up and see it later this evening or during the week next week, I highly recommend it. It's really, really good. So now let's take a look at the food matrix. So why would somebody eat an orange if we're thinking purely about nutrition? Not because you like oranges, or not because we're in Florida and they're very available or they're in season. If you're just thinking about nutrition, why would you eat an orange? The number one reason is vitamin C. Everybody knows, or hopefully everybody knows, that an orange has a lot of vitamin C. Vitamin C is very, very important for our health. It helps our immune system. It helps the production of hormones, a lot of different things. It keeps our body in balance. We need a lot of vitamin C on a daily basis. We can't just eat a ton of vitamin C and then go 3 months without eating vitamin C. We need to every day get some vitamin C. And we can get vitamin C from an array of fruits and vegetables. But orange is a good example. So we're going to look at the food matrix from the point of view of oranges and look at 3 things. We're going to look at vitamin C, we're going to look at fiber, and we're going to look at calories, very, very specifically. So if I eat an orange, if I peel its skin and I eat the entire orange except the skin, I will be getting about 45 milligrams of vitamin C. And that's the daily recommended doses. So if I'm eating 1 orange every day, I'm getting all of the vitamin C I need, according to the guidelines of the US government. The truth is, you probably only need about 10 milligrams, but they are extra generous just to be safe. So if you eat half an orange, you're probably safe. But they say, have 45 milligrams, then you've got plenty to spare. Okay, so 1 orange will give me 45 milligrams of vitamin C. It'll give me 2.3 milligrams of fiber and 45 calories. How many calories does the average adult need to eat on a daily basis to take care of their energy needs?
2,000?
About 2,000. It varies depending on your height, your weight, your age, but anywhere between 1,500 and 2,000 is a safe bet. So 45 calories, good. That's what the orange gives me. Now we're going to change the food matrix. Instead of eating the orange in its original form, I'm going to take that orange, cut it in half, and I'm going to squeeze it in an orange press and just get the juice. So this is 1 squeezed orange, and I get about 100 milliliters of orange juice. About 1/4 of a cup, maybe, of orange juice. So now I'm not eating the entire orange, I'm just drinking the juice that is squeezed out of it. So I'm changing the food matrix. I'm changing its structure, and what it provides my body. So how much am I getting as far as vitamin C? Most of the vitamin C comes out. So I'm getting still my 45 milligrams of vitamin C. So I'm safe there. That's great. However, I'm getting almost zero fiber. The real orange gave me 2.3 milligrams of fiber. The orange juice, without all of the skins, all of the center part, I'm getting 0.2 milligrams of fiber, almost no fiber. And I'm still getting 45 calories, so most of the calories come out. So really what I've done by squeezing the orange is I've gotten rid of the fiber. What does the food industry like to do? Get rid of the fiber. If you cut an orange open and you put it out just like that, within a day it'll rot. If I squeeze the orange juice, and I put it in a cup and I leave it out, it's probably good for 4 days because I've gotten rid of the fiber. So that makes the shelf life longer. But fiber is important for us. So I'm getting rid of some really, really important nutrition. Fiber keeps our digestive tract system clean. It prevents colon cancer, all kinds of really important stuff. It's really good for our blood. Okay, so how many people pull out, or if they go to a restaurant and order fresh squeezed orange juice, would be satisfied if they got a cup like that?
No.
No, right? That's the other thing about changing the food matrix. All of a sudden, you want a full glass of fresh squeezed orange juice. So instead of having 100 milliliters, you're now having 250 milliliters. You're having 2.5 oranges. So what regularly, if you're just feeling a little hungry and you want a snack and you cut open an orange and you eat the entire orange, you would be satisfied with one orange. However, if you squeeze it and you change this food matrix, you're no longer satisfied with one orange. You have to eat about 2.5 oranges. So what are we doing? We're increasing the amount of vitamin C that we're getting, which is insignificant really because what we need is 10 milligrams. So whether we get 45 milligrams or 112 milligrams, our body really just needs 10 of it. So the other is probably just going in my body and out my body. I'm getting no fiber, and instead of getting 45 calories, all of a sudden I'm getting 112.5 calories. So I've increased the amount of calories without significantly increasing the amount of nutrition that I'm giving my body. So what we're doing is we're cheating our body of nutrition every time we change this food matrix. So now we're going to change this food matrix again. And now instead of fresh squeezed orange juice, we're going to look at Minute Maid orange juice. It's made from concentrate. They add sugar so that the shelf life is longer. It doesn't have to be refrigerated. It can sit out. They get rid of all of the fiber. This doesn't even have 0.2 milligrams of fiber. It has zero fiber. Because that way it can sit out unrefrigerated for months on end. And 240 milliliters, one glass of our fresh squeezed orange juice, which we call one serving, right? That's what we would need to be satisfied. Minute Maid, to cheat us on their label, says, oh, that's about 8 servings. Yeah, you're probably drinking 8 servings in one sitting. And that's what they do in the labels to confuse us. So they say, oh, well, it's about 8 servings, 300 calories, so one serving is about 40 calories. And you think, oh, that's great, that's less than an orange. And so you serve yourself a big tall glass of Minute Maid orange juice, and you're not getting the 40 calories you thought you were getting. You're getting the full 8 servings, 300 calories. You're getting 0 vitamin C, you're getting 0 fiber, all you're getting is calories. So we've changed the food matrix again. We've taken that orange and we've gotten rid of all of the good stuff and we just keep the calories. And not only do we just keep the calories, we concentrate the calories. by adding sugar to it. And so what before would satisfy us with one real orange, 45 calories, gives us vitamin C, gives us fiber, which is good for us. We've now processed it twice through this food matrix, and now we've gotten rid of everything that's good for us, and we've 6 times increased the amount of calories that we're getting. Let's take it one step further. Let's get rid of the orange altogether. Let's just use orange flavoring, because that's even cheaper to produce. Because we don't even have to bother with Florida and their silly oranges. So, oh, okay. No, I was looking at this last one here. No, where is it? Oh, this one here. Oh, yeah. Okay, so here we are. A can of Fanta, or Sunkist, or Orangina, whatever you want. 250 milliliters, 0 vitamins, 0 fiber, 300 calories. And it's just a ton of sugar, really. It doesn't have any orange whatsoever. This one, actually, I made a mistake. The Minute Maid orange juice does have vitamin C, because it is made from oranges. So the vitamin C, it does remain in it as you process it. They've just added a bunch of sugar so that we're getting tons more calories. Whereas when we take it one step further and we remove the orange altogether and just use orange flavoring, then we're getting 0 vitamin C, 0 fiber, and just calories. So, you know, we're just taking that food matrix and processing it. And what we're doing is we're decreasing the nutritional value and increasing the caloric intake. Okay, so how about vitamin C supplements? If you take one vitamin C supplement, how much vitamin C are you getting? About 1,000 milligrams. How much is your body gonna take in one day? 10. Let's say that you're deficient in vitamin C, maybe 20 milligrams, 30, 40 if it's extreme. How much vitamin C is just going in your body and out? Almost 99% of this tablet. I'm not saying that tablets are bad. If you are low in vitamin C and this is the only way to get it, do this. But it's not the best solution. The best solution is just to cut open an orange and eat the orange. To squeeze some lemon into some water and drink lemon juice. There's plenty of vitamin C in that. All vegetables, most vegetables have vitamin C. Broccoli and cabbage, all of those are rich in vitamin C. It's easy to get vitamin C. 0 fiber in a tablet and 8 calories. It's insignificant. Really what you're doing is you're looking for the vitamin C. But you're not necessarily, because you're eating a high concentrate of it, necessarily getting any healthier from that. So, the other thing about sugar, because we know we need energy, is that our understanding of sugar is faulty. So you say sugar gives you energy. Okay, well if I scoop sugar into my mouth, I expect to have the strength of a 5-year-old boy and be non-stop running around all day. Is that what happens? No. Sugar gives me glucose, that's true. And if I take maybe a half a teaspoon of sugar, then it's going to increase my glucose level, so I do feel a bit of energy. But really what it's going to do is it's going to tell my body, start producing a lot of insulin, because we need to get rid of this sugar in the blood. And the insulin makes me feel tired, drowsy, sleepy, and empty of energy. So I'm going to get a quick spike of energy, and then all afternoon I'm going to be dead tired. So having sugar, we think that's going to give me energy. Momentarily it'll give you energy, and then it's going to take away your energy. So sugar gives you energy, or rather, sugar drains you of energy, because real carbohydrates like sweet potato, like fruits, those give us plenty of energy, but not in excess. Whereas when we eat processed foods that have sugar, concentrated sugar, it drains us of energy. It's too much for our body to healthily process. So we need to think, glucose is potential energy. It doesn't necessarily mean more energy to our bodies. It's potential energy. If your body has sugar and you don't need it, if you're feeling okay, and that Cinnabon looks delicious, if you eat it, it's not going to give you more energy. It's going to make you tired. It's like gas in your car. As long as your car has gas, it will run. If you fill the tank with more gas, it's not going to run more. It's not going to be faster and better. It's going to run the same. So taking in more sugar doesn't give us more energy. If we have no energy, then it provides it. But if we already have it, it's going to actually make us feel tired. So consuming sugar does not make you jump out of your chair and clean the house. It makes you sit in the chair and fall asleep. That's what happens. And what's the result of eating sugar and falling asleep? That we aren't active. And so the extra calories that we consume, we don't even use them. And what does that mean? It turns into fat, and our bodies get unhealthy. And so it's a vicious circle. So on top of that, there's a concept which most of us are not aware of. And I learned this pretty recently, reading a book that was talking specifically about sugar. And the concept, they call it TOFI, and that means thin on the outside, fat on the inside. There's a lot of people who look quite thin, and you think, oh, they're really healthy. But there's a lot of fat on the inside of our bodies that we don't see. So a lot of us have love handles, that's a little bit of fat on the outside. But there's also fat on the inside that layers around our organs. And the little bit of fat around our organs is very healthy because it provides energy in the situation that we are low in energy. It also provides a little bit of cushioning in our organs in case we get shaken about. If we're jogging or whatever, it protects our organs. So naturally, the body has a little bit of fat around our organs. But if we eat a lot of calories, excessive amounts, specifically processed foods, flour, sugar, our bodies can't turn that fast enough into fat for our to give us love handles. What it does is it first creates fat around our organs, and that is very dangerous. That is unhealthy fats. I mean, all fat to some degree, if it's in excess, is unhealthy, but we all have a certain amount of fat which is healthy. It keeps us warm in the winter. It provides us a safety of energy for when we need it, when there's not so much food available. But this excess of fat on the inside is very, very unhealthy, and it comes most specifically from eating sugar, from eating processed foods. So if you have a healthy diet and you don't eat a lot of processed foods, a lot of sugar, you probably don't have a lot of fat around your organs, and that's very, very good. Because this causes a lot of problems. This can lead to heart attacks, to cancer, to all kinds of problems. So just because you're not so fat on the outside doesn't mean that you're healthy on the inside either. So don't be fooled. So excess calories equals harmful calories. We need to eat calories, but we need to eat enough for our daily need. I shouldn't worry about tomorrow. All I need is to worry about the calories I need for today. If I'm eating excess calories, that's harming my body. I'm having to process a lot of things that my body doesn't need. So for every 150 daily excess calories, my risk of diabetes goes up 0.1%. So if I'm eating 150 excess calories every single day, over a year's time, I've increased my chances of diabetes by 36.5%. That's significant. That's not good. However, if I'm eating excess sugar calories are really toxic calories, because those same 150 calories, which are not so dangerous if done from time to time, if they come from sugar, from soda, I'm increasing my risk of diabetes by 1.1%. It's more than tenfold the risk of eating excess calories from sugar, from processed sugar. So people who eat a lot of processed sugar, their chance of getting diabetes is significantly increased. And that's why they call sugar toxic calories. It's not just dangerous calories, it's not just excess calories, it's toxic calories. It's bad for our bodies. So here's an example of what the food industry does. It takes out 2 grams of fat from their Nabisco Snackwells cookies, but they add 4 grams of sugar. So they've decreased the fat, and that's what they put on the label. They say 2 grams less of fat on these cookies. Eat them, they're good for you. But in the back, in very fine print, you can see that they've increased the sugar. And that's not necessarily better for us. So all of these products that say low fat, non-fat, you are being fooled. They're not any better for you. Because instead of getting the fat, which isn't so bad for us, we're getting a ton of processed sugar, which in excess is bad for us. So here's a typical example where you think, I'm eating something healthy. You go to the grocery store, you buy some yogurt with strawberry flavor because you like strawberry and you're eating it. There is more sugar per gram in a serving of low-fat yogurt than there is in a can of Coke. So you think, I'm being healthy, I'm eating low-fat yogurts. I'm not going to eat that real fat yogurt. The normal yogurt, that's for the Greek. I'm going to eat my low-fat yogurt because it's healthy for me. Well, the Greek, they eat their real yogurt. The, delicious Greek yogurt, and it's full of fat. And they do it shamelessly. And they enjoy every bit of it. And it's actually healthy. Instead, we eat this low-fat yogurt that's jam-packed secretly with sugar, and we think we're being healthy.
So, I have a question on that.
Yes.
So it's because of the
Excess.
strawberries and stuff that they put in. If you're eating
Right.
plain,
Well,
then
look.
you probably could better to eat plain whole. But
Yes.
if you're eating plain low fat, you're reducing some sugar.
Yeah, I mean, look on the back and see if they've increased the sugar. Look at the normal yogurt and look at the low fat. If it's both are plain and they both have the same amount of sugar, then yes, it doesn't matter. But chances are the low fat one has excess sugar because they have to compensate for the lack of flavor somehow. So, remember, sugar is pure energy and it supplies us nothing but calories. It doesn't have any nutritional value, no vitamins, minerals, fiber, none of that stuff. It's just calories. And that doesn't make it evil. We need calories, but if that's all we're doing, then we're cheating our bodies of a lot of other stuff it needs. Reducing empty calories, and that's what sugar is, just empty calories, is what successfully will lead to weight reduction. People say, well, you have to have more protein or less protein, or more fat or less fat, or more carbs or less carbs. No, you have to eat only salads or only soups, or soup and salad and then a muffin. All of these things are just fad diets. There's no real logic behind it. What you have to do is reduce the empty calories. That will successfully lead you to weight loss, combined with having an active physical life. You have to do some walking, some exercising. So the most consistently successful way of losing weight is by giving up sugar in your diet, including added sugars. So people who decide, I am not going to have added sugars, which doesn't mean that you don't eat fruits fruits are very important to us, and they have a certain amount of sugar, but it's not added sugar, it's natural sugar. So if you give up added sugars, then that forces you to eat real food, because you can't just be eating crackers and other things out of the box, Cheerios and all of that stuff. You'll be eating real food. You'll be eating apples and carrots and vegetables and all these things, which have a lot of good nutrition. You're going to feel full, your body's going to have what it needs, and you're getting rid of these empty calories that you don't need. And that will help you lose weight. I saw this quote and I thought it was very, very good. You can't out-exercise a bad diet. We live in a society where we over-exercise. Everybody has to go to the gym 3 times a week. Why? Because we overeat. Because we're eating a ton of sugar. Because we all want to have those extra cookies, the muffin, the brownie, the ice cream. And so what do we need to compensate for that? Go to the gym an extra time. That's not healthy. You can't out-exercise a bad diet. And that's not the goal either.
That's exactly.
So there's a researcher at UC Davis, and he has shown that the consumption of sugar increases the bad cholesterol in our blood. And people have always thought that's really weird. Why does eating sugar create fat in our blood? And Kimber, must be a woman, I don't know. In any case, they proved that this is true. And what happens is, you eat the sugar, your body can't consume it quick enough, so it turns it into fat, and because you're over-consuming it, some of that fat gets into your bloodstream as bad cholesterol. And so eating sugar in excess gives you cholesterol, increases your cholesterol, not only cholesterol, but the bad type of cholesterol, and that leads to heart disease, to clogged arteries, to all kinds of situations. So the liver is overloaded with fructose. It's trying to process the sugar. It can't, and so it converts it into fat that enters our bloodstream and leads to a lot of sickness. And then finally, I usually end with drink a lot of water. Water is the most important thing we have. One of the basic things for our health. But today I don't want to say drink water. I want to say don't drink calories. Don't drink toxic calories. If you pick up a can of soda, you're not necessarily giving your body the hydration you think. What you're giving it is excess sugar, calories. And the same thing with most fruit juices, with sports and energy drinks. They're just chock full of excess toxic calories. So drink water, that's what's best for you. That's my lecture for today. Thank you.